Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing my top 10 palette video because I love eyeshadow palettes, I love all types of palettes, they're just amazing. If anybody wants to buy me a present at all, just buy me a palette, any type of palette really. So yeah, let's just get into the video. So at number 10 I have the Makeup Revolution London Salvation palette, and it's the Run Boy Run palette. You're going to see a lot of Makeup Revolution palettes in this video because they are my favourite drugstore palettes. This palette is so beautiful, it's so pigmented. Why did it fall? It's so pigmented, beautiful, it's got a massive mirror, it's amazing. The only reason I've put this at number 10 is because I only really use these colours here and a few of the top ones because there's like a lot of colours that I don't really want to use. Like there's like a greeny gold and there's like a grey. I don't really use those types of colours, but I do use the bottom ones a lot. So that is number 10. Number 9 is another Makeup Revolution palette, and this one's probably not a surprise. This is the Redemption palette, Mermaids vs Unicorns. And first of all, the name is on point. And I love this palette so much. I don't really like these colours that much. Apart from these three colours, I use every single one of these colours here. This is like the mermaid side, this is the unicorn side, but these two colours here are my favourite. And I use this all the time whenever I do my blue eyeshadow look. By the way, comment down below if you want a video on my blue eyeshadow look. I always use this palette and a colour from my Too Faced palette. I always use this one. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. It's so pigmented, but the reason it is at number 9 is because these colours are a lot harder to wear than the rest of them. So yeah, that is palette number 9. Palette number 8 is the Makeup Revolution Ultimate Blush Palette in Sugar and Spice. Again, massive mirror. It's got super pretty colours in here. It's got 7 blushes and then it's got 1 highlight, and this is actually my favourite highlighter. I really want to get the highlight palette as well because it's got, honestly, I'm not lying, the best drugstore highlighters that you can buy are Makeup Revolution. They are only like £3. They are absolutely incredible. I love them so much. Yeah, so this is my favourite highlighter. It's super duper shimmery. I really love it. Although if you didn't know, my favourite highlighter is the Wet n Wild in, what's it in? It's an I'll Have a Cosmo, if you're wondering. Yeah, I love it so much, but the reason it's at number 8 is because it's a blush palette and you can only really use 1 shade out of here each time, which means obviously this blush palette is going to last a long time, which means it's a good value for money, but it means that I don't really wear all of these. I don't really wear this one unless it's winter. My favourite shades are these ones here. These two I sort of don't really wear very much, or this one. But all the rest of them I wear a lot. But I do really like this palette. It is definitely a good value for money. So yeah, this is palette number 8. Palette number 7 is, again, by the way, the bottom 6, not 6, but I think it's the bottom 6 up until the next one. I don't think there's any more Makeup Revolution palettes, so yeah, this Makeup Revolution, you can tell I love it because literally all the fronts rubbed off. This is the Ultra Professional eyeshadow palette in Flawless. First of all, so many shades of eyeshadow, so many different colours, so many things to like experiment with. I will admit to you, I do not use these colours very much. I don't use those at all, although I do want to find a way to use this because this one's really pretty. But the ones I use the most are like these ones, all around here, like the browns and the mattes. They are my favourite. Again, the reason I put it at number 7, I think it's number 7, is because there are a few colours in this palette. Obviously you're not going to like every single colour in a palette, but I just find that there is so much choice because there's 30 eyeshadows in this. There is so much choice in this that I kind of stick to the same ones and I don't really use all of them. But apart from that, this is amazing. I definitely want to get the matte palette because these are only £8, which is pretty good. And then the ones that are clear, with the clear top where you can see through them without the mirror, those are £4. And then the blush palettes are £6. So I kind of want to get a few more blush palettes the concealer palette I want to get, the contour palette, and I want to get another one of these, but the matte one, I think it's called Angel. It's super duper pretty. I really, really like it. Palette number 6 is my last Makeup Revolution palette. Honestly, I love this palette so much. This is the Redemption palette, Essentials Mattes 2. First of all of those shades, I wear every single one of those shades. There is not one colour in this palette that I have not worn. But I absolutely love this. They're all matte. There's no shimmer, which I really, really like, because if you didn't know, matte eyeshadows are my favourite eyeshadows. The only thing I don't like, the reason it is at number 6, is because the price is really fair as well, which I'm not going to knock, but the packaging is not sturdy enough for me. I feel like if I take this somewhere, it might break. I probably will take this on holiday with me, because I need to start using it more, because I stick to the same palettes really. I stick to like the same 3 palettes, but I'm going to start using this one again because I absolutely love it, and I forgot how much I love it. So this is palette number 6. So palette number 5 is my Naked palette. The reason I've chose this one is because it is beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's got so many pretty shades in it. Again, I don't use all of them. I'd say from here, there, I don't use those shades. Like, if you got rid of those, this would be like the ideal palette. The reason it is at number 5 because it is my favourite palette. This was my first ever high-end palette. Oh no, it wasn't. This was my first ever like big high-end palette sort of thing, because I did get the Naked Basics before this. This was my first like Naked palette, like my actual proper Naked palette. The reason I'm putting it at number 5 is because the packaging is definitely not as sturdy as the other ones, because it's just like a magnetic little flap, and I have had problems, like a few of my eyeshadows have got like little dents in them and stuff, and little scrapes and stuff taken out of them from where this has like come up. I don't like how the mirror is so small and it's big in all of the other palettes, and I also, just the packaging itself doesn't feel sturdy to me. But apart from that, I absolutely love this palette. I definitely recommend it to anybody, and again, I need to start using it more. But also, I'm just going to say, there is a lot of shimmers in here. There is not enough mattes for me. If there are a few more matte colours, then definitely this would probably be at number 1. Palette number 4 is another Naked palette. I think it just goes Naked palette, and then there's a couple other palettes in here as well. This is the Naked Smoky palette. This is the newest one. I don't know if I've told you the story behind this, but on Christmas I was getting the Naked, I got the Naked 2 for my birthday, didn't I? Oh my god, I can't remember. I think I got the Naked 2 and the chocolate bar palette for Christmas, and then because my sister's boyfriend bought my sister the Naked Smoky, but my mum had already bought it, my auntie had already bought it for my sister, so I ended up getting the Naked Smoky for Christmas as well. If that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have this. But this palette is so beautiful. I like the layout of this one because it's different, because it goes from like light to dark to light, but I like how it's the shimmers, and then it's the satins, and then it's the mattes. The mattes are my most used out of all of them, apart from this colour, because this is my favourite colour in the palette. That's High. I really, really like this palette. I also like how you can see all the eyeshadows on the back sort of thing. I love the design of this palette. This one does feel a lot more sturdy. Like, I love it so much. It's amazing. It's so beautiful. And the reason it is at number 4 is because the dark colours in the middle, like these greys, I don't use grey because grey does not suit my eyes. I don't use the grey. I don't really use the purple, but apart from that, I use every single colour in the palette. It's super pigmented. I love it so much. So this is palette number 4. Palette number 3 is a little mini one. This is actually one of the Sephora minis, because I was going to get the full size palette, but it was like $60, and I was like, I am not spending $60 considering I only have like 200, and it was the first day. So I got the Tartelette Tease rather than getting the full Tartelette. This is what it looks like. I'm actually kind of glad I got this, because when I looked at the full palette, I didn't really like all of the colours in there, whereas I use every single colour in this palette. There is no way I cannot use every single colour in this palette. It's super pretty. I love these colours together so much, and it really complements my skin tone and stuff like that. It's amazing. I love the packaging as well. The reason this is at number 3 rather than being like higher up is because, first of all, the packaging is quite flimsy. It's sort of like the Naked palette. The mirror is quite big actually, but it's not really a palette. It's more of just 6 eyeshadows together. It's got quite good sized eyeshadows, but I do think that this doesn't really count too much as a palette. I don't know. I put it at number 3 just because my other 2 I prefer better. Yeah. So that was palette number 3. Palette number 2 is my Naked 2 palette. I absolutely love this palette. It is amazing. This packaging definitely is the sturdiest packaging out of all of my palettes. This is definitely the sturdiest. This is what it looks like. I absolutely am in love with this palette. It's so pretty. The mirror is huge. I love how the mirror is that big. I feel a bit bad when I fold it all the way back because I feel like it's going to break. I love it so much. I've seen a lot of my favourite YouTubers with this. Again, I don't really use these 2 shadows. I think this is the palette where I use the least amount of shadows. Like, the ones that I don't use is like the less, because I've got lipstick on my teeth. I only don't use these 2 colours. That's it. Apart from that, I use every single other colour. I do actually use the greys in this palette because it is a grey toned palette. I really like it. The reason it's at number 2 is because I do love it. I use it all the time, but I don't use it as much as my top palette. So yeah, this is at number 2, and oh, it's a Naked 2 and it's at number 2. So this is number 2. Okay, my number 1 palette / palettes. I know it's going to be a bit cheating, but I had to include 2 palettes because these palettes are my absolute favourite. I could not decide between them. You cannot trump these palettes. These are my absolute favourite, and there is no chance on earth that I would ever stop loving these because I love them so much. And that is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. I have never tried any Too Faced makeup before, and once I tried this, I'm completely hooked on it. I need to try everything. I'm definitely going to get the original original Chocolate Bar palette, and I also want the Sweet Peaches palette as well. I absolutely love Tarte palettes. It's so pretty. This colour I also use in my blue eyeshadow look. Every single colour in this palette I use, no matter what colour it is, every single one of them I use. There is not one colour in this palette that I don't use, which I love because I can get use out of every single colour. I love it so much. I love the packaging of it, and it smells amazing. I love this palette so much. I think I prefer this palette to the original Chocolate Bar palette because this palette has a lot more brown tones, like a lot more browns in it and stuff like that, and a lot more colours that I wear, whereas the Chocolate Bar palette has a lot more colours that I don't really wear, like a lot darker. And then the other palette that I have is my Naked Basics palette. This is it was my first ever high-end palette. I love it so much. It's been my favourite since day one because I use every single one of these colours. I could wear this palette every single day because it's got like a highlight shade, 2 lid shades and crease shades here, and then your darkest shade. I love it so much. You can use this palette so much. This one has got a massive dent in it. This is Faint. It has the biggest dent in it because I used to use it to fill in my eyebrows. I absolutely love it. It's amazing. Definitely recommend this. If you're going for a first high-end palette, I would recommend this completely because it's not too expensive. Again, lipstick on my teeth. It's not too expensive. It's not too much, and it's not overwhelming either. It's just a nice little array of colours. So that was my top 10 eyeshadow, well, my top 10 palettes because there was a blush palette in there as well. So yeah, comment, like and subscribe. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Shout out for the day is going to be Neve Caitlin because she has got most of these palettes. So yeah, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye guys, see you in the next video.